but enough about me. Let's move on to Monday's episode, probably to my favorite show this fall season, and that's, of course, Gotham. Gotham. Oh, Gotham. Gotham, 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 Gotham. We find out this week Theo Galavan's motive for life. Not for his entire life, but for everything that's going on in Gotham right now that revolves around Theo Galavan, we find out in this episode. Theo Galavan is this season's main villain, for those of you who don't know, but he's also running for mayor. So if I started with the whole he's running for mayor, you probably would have thought that he is the villain already, because most politicians are evil. It's just facts. Just facts. Just facts. He's enlisted the help of the Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, and he enlisted him kind of unwillfully. That's the best way I'll put it. In last week's episode, you saw that Oswald Cobblepot's mother has been kidnapped by Theo Galavan, and that is where that is how Oswald Cobblepot is being. Those are the strings in which Oswald Cobblepot are being controlled by Theo Galavan. So now the Penguin, all he wants to do is he wants to get his mother back. But Theo wants him to do more things. And this week's episode, he asks him to commit a little arson. No biggie. No biggie. Just a little arson. Well, that's not really the Penguin's MO. So the Penguin, he hires out. He knows a great bunch of guys that will do all this. And he hires out to a group of arsonists. Jim Gordon's got his strike team, which last Wednesday I mentioned. If you are fans of the Dark Knight series by Christopher Nolan, Harvey Dent kept mentioning in The Dark Knight that Jim Gordon had this task force that he wasn't really too happy with because they were filled with crooked cops. Well, in Gotham, Jim Gordon has a bunch of fresh recruits that were the top of their class, and this is his task force. Also being run by Michael Chiklis, Captain Barnes. So they're running a successful task force. They're busting up their main target for all of their raids, and all of their focus is really pinpointed on the Penguin, which could make things a little messy because in the season 2 premiere, while Jim Gordon was down on his luck as a beat cop who's really not getting anywhere, and what seemed like a week, because Jim Gordon don't take nothing from nobody, he was down in the dumps, and he was whatchamacallit, down in the dumps, and he was coming to Penguin for help, and the Penguin asked him to do something, and now he's wondering if his new task force, run by him and Captain Barnes, will lead him back to him after the strike team goes after the Penguin. So they go after a couple raids. They're going after a couple people. They're hitting Penguin's really getting hit this season. I know this season is called Villains Will Rise, but it really, I mean, it seems like all the other villains are rising except for Penguin. Penguin is just really getting just beat from every single punch. He's just letting every punch connect. He is not defending himself whatsoever. But he keeps getting back up. He keeps thinking that he's going to be the king of Gotham. And you know what? That is an attitude that everybody else has to have. Be the king. Be the king of Gotham. Be the king of the world if you want to. I mean, Jack Dawson wanted to be the king of the world, and look where he ended up. Be the king of the world if you want to. But yeah. So Jim Gordon's still playing it kind of clean, so that Captain Barnes doesn't really suspect anything. And I gotta say, Ben McKenzie is doing a great job as Jim Gordon. He's, again, this is supposed to be a prequel story to anything Batman, in which you get to see Jim Gordon rise from beat cop, detective, to captain, to commissioner. When he's Commissioner Gordon, in some comics he's a rootin' tootin' fighting man and throws people up and over tables and stuff like that. But in most episodes, or most tellings of Commissioner Gordon, he's an older gentleman who's been through it all, and is just taking a back seat while Batman does everything, and he calls Batman when he needs to. And lets the vigilante do all the hard work, and then he takes credit when credit's due, or calls him when he needs his help. But right now, there is no vigilante. In Gotham, the vigilante is basically Jim Gordon, and he's got to be the rootin' tootin' Jim Gordon that Gotham needs. And I think Ben McKenzie's doing a great job. Some people I've spoken to about this, they think that the Jim Gordon that we see in Gotham is just too rough and tough. But Ben McKenzie, I think what you're doing, and I think what the writers and the producers of Gotham are doing, is smart. Because the show is supposed to be about Jim Gordon's rise from cop to commissioner, and how the people around him affect that. Yes, Bruce Wayne is in this, Alfred is in this, Lucius Fox is in this, but they're just minor characters. And everything started with Bruce Wayne's parents getting killed, which we all know is the chain reaction that starts Bruce Wayne's transition into Batman. But this Gotham is focused on the city. And during those years when Bruce Wayne was transitioning to Batman, and the years that nobody really wants to pay attention to, and the years that some people wrote about, and we did get to see at the beginning of Batman Begins, the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight series, but really nobody cares about his transitioning as a kid and everything like that. Nobody really cares about that. But a story that was probably neglected and was probably written in an offset, when some of the writers of Batman were a little bored, they decided, well, why don't we follow Jim Gordon? And that's what Gotham is doing. And I think Gotham is just skyrocketing to being a really great dramatic TV show. It takes all the familiar characters that we all know and love, and it spins it in a way that you see through the eyes of Jim Gordon. And you get to see this city for what it really is, through human eyes, through unprejudiced eyes. Because Although he vowed to help Bruce Wayne figure out who killed his parents, he's not really driven by the death of his own parents that we know of. Um, to do all this. And we certainly know that Jim Gordon's not going to put a mask and a cape on and jump from rooftop to rooftop and come hanging down from upside down from a building and zip someone back up, and tie them and knock them out and use batarangs and flashbangs and this and that. We know that he's going to use the law and his own human strength to fight it. So for those of you out there who think that the way Jim Gordon's being played or portrayed in this, you got to remember, he's a young guy, and he wants to rise in the thing. Now, the cop that's going to just sit there and just fill up his quota every month, if quotas are a real thing, of arrests and tickets and whatnot, that cop, he's not really going to get anywhere in life. You're going to stay in that blue shirt. You might be able to be a UC, an undercover cop. But quite frankly, you're not going to be commissioner. Not at all. Not with that attitude. But the attitude that Jim Gordon has, yeah, it's been getting him into a lot of trouble. But I'm sure he's going to rub elbows with the right guy at the right time, and that's where he's going to rise up to commissioner. The Dark Knight series by the Nolan brothers, we saw how that Jim Gordon rose to commissioner, and it was a pretty dramatic way. This time, however, again, I don't know if that's where this series is going to go. I don't know if this is one of those series where they have a finite story written. I don't know, like Breaking Bad and what's that other show that I mentioned before? I mentioned another show with a finite ending that they knew it was going to end in a certain amount of seasons. Oh, Sons of Anarchy. I don't know if it's got that. This is a more familiar story that everybody knows about. So, will it have that finite ending where it's his promotion to being commissioner? Who knows? Who knows? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. So yeah. So that's where all that is. Without getting into any full-on details, we do get introduced to a new villain within Gotham. Her name is Firefly. Now, again, I'm a villains guy. I love villains. Wasn't really feeling this one. Never read the origin, or never looked up the origins of Firefly in the real DC comic universe. Never read about Firefly. Never knew who he or she was. I hope for the sake of those who are fans of the Batman comics, I hope Firefly was not portrayed the same exact way as she was in Gotham, because the way she was portrayed in Gotham was despicable. I'm sorry, but she was a callous scaredy cat whose suit was just made because she didn't want to get burned. And she really didn't have a fascination with fire. Usually villains, like take for instance, take a look at the Flash. Captain Freeze, and his brother, and not Firestorm, but his brother who's like Mr. Hot or Mr. Fire or whatever. But they are obsessed with their elements. They are obsessed with fire and ice. Firefly, she was a timid she was the timid sister of these arsonists that Penguin hired. And due to some unfortunate events, the arsonists needed a smaller bodied person, and their sister happened to be that smaller bodied person. So, it, I don't know. When you see Firefly and you see how pretty cool the suit looks, you get excited for these things, and I just think the character kind of fell flat, or dare I say, burned out quickly. Maybe she'll grow to like the fire or something like that. I did like her storyline with Selena Kyle, who is Catwoman, but she's Catgirl right now because she's the same age as Bruce Wayne. She is a preteen. Selena Kyle is friends with her, and I like the dynamic that the two of them had together. So I thought that was really cool because you have battered woman, with the hopeless woman being Selena Kyle. That being said, the dynamics between the two of them were really working out well in the end for them. And Selena Kyle, she's going to be a major character. She's definitely going to be a major character. I think she got a little lost in the Dark Knight Returns, or the Dark Knight Rises. Sorry, not the Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns is the cartoon, comics, and the comic series. The Dark Knight Rises with Tom Hardy as Bane and Anne Hathaway, Selena Kyle. I like that version of Catwoman, but I actually like this version. I like the Selena Kyle in Gotham. She's doing a great job. She's tremendous actor for how young she is, or at least how young she looks. She could be 40 for all I know and just look really young. Tremendous job done by all of them. Chickless, after that awesome entrance last week, still kicking it, still wanting to just take names and just rip them up. And he's really trying to clean up Gotham, and that's what we want. We want a man to help Gordon clean up Gotham. And he doesn't take no for an answer. And Gordon's following in his footsteps, but again, in the back of his mind, he does have that he does have that one favor that he did for Penguin from the season premiere in the back of his mind. So Gordon has to watch out for that, and he knows about that. It's not that Gordon has to watch out for it and he's oblivious to it. He's being very careful of how he directs the task force, and he makes sure that he says the right things at the right time so that his new boss, Captain Barnes, doesn't get suspicious, which is good, which is great. We'll see how it works in the end. So Gotham was good this week. Again, I wasn't really too happy with the villain Firefly, but I'm pretty sure she might not be that significant to the bigger storyline of Rise of the Villains. I think it was just another, like, we need Rise of the Villains, we need to throw that in there. Which is cool. Let her do that. I mean, yes, Jerome's magnificent performance was cut short, but again, it's for the greater good of Rise of the Villains. So, it'll be very interesting to see, if they were to keep in Firefly, how she'll play into the storyline. Is she going to play more with Selena Kyle, or try to break out more on her own? And is she going to get a little bit more confident? I'm not really a big fan of the timid, the timid villains. I like the villains who know that they're crazy or know what they want to do, even if it doesn't make any sense at all. I'm looking at you, Jerome, and the Joker. I'm looking at you, looking at you, looking at you. So we go from Gotham, we stay in the DC universe, and we go to Tuesday night's episode of The Flash. The Flash. We find out that the Flash. We find out at the end of last week's episode that there are 52 of these portals open. The strongest one is in Star Labs in Central City, where Barry Allen, Cisco, Caitlin, all of them work. I told you guys in episode 2, when the Flash first came out and I first talked about it, that this season has got the sequel feels. The sequel feels. It's all about what feels in here. People are going to be feeling a lot of things. Well, lo and behold, the sequel feels continues. This time, though, it's not just Barry Allen that is dealing with it. It's Jesse L. Martin's character, whose name escapes me, as it usually does. But Jesse L. Martin plays the cop who became Barry Allen's father figure when Barry Allen's real father was taken away to prison and after his mother was killed. So Jesse L. Martin, he is approached by a woman who is his daughter's real mother. Now, her mother is supposed to be dead. In fact, there was a very interesting line where he's still wearing his wedding ring, and this woman, Francine, says, "Oh, you're still wearing your wedding ring," and he says, "Yes. Divorcees don't. Divorcees take it off. Widowers leave it on." I thought that was a very interesting kind of dynamic. I think this episode was really strong for him and his daughter, because he had to tell her about Francine and that she's still alive. Your mother is actually still alive. I kind of messed up, and he really got through it. Back to out of the sequel feels, back to the larger story arc. So Jay Garrick had fallen through one of these 52 portals, and the strongest portal's in Star Labs, but they can't figure out how to keep it open. Except for Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick could figure it out, but because he's not as quick as the Flash, because he lost his powers, he's gonna figure it out and try to get it open. Yeah, of course he figures it out in the end. I mean, what kind of show would it be if he didn't figure it out in the end? Come on. You do get to see the return of Captain Cold, played by Wentworth Miller, who's from Prison Break. And if you've never seen Prison Break, watch it. It's a really good show. You want to talk about a show with a finite future? Really, really, really awesome stuff. But this episode dealt a lot with family. That was the overgoing theme with it. Jesse L. Martin's character dealt with the issues with his former wife. I don't want to say ex-wife, because I don't know if he, went through with all of that. divorce stuff. Or, and also Captain Cold was trying to protect his own sister from their father, who we found out, once you're a terrible man, you're always a terrible man, which is true in pretty much every TV show and sometimes in real life, because once you're a terrible person, you're pretty much always a terrible person. At the end of the episode, and I'll throw this up. At the end of the episode, you see Barry Allen sitting with Captain Cold in the prison meeting area on the phone system, and Barry Allen told Captain Cold that there's still some good in you. There's still a little bit of good in you. I can feel it. Something's going to come along these days, and it's going to steer you to the right way, and it's going to make you good, and it's going to force you to be a better man than what you claim to be. And of course, come on, folks, come on. If you're into TV shows almost as much as I am, you would know he's leading in to the Legends of Tomorrow, which stars Wentworth Miller as Captain Cold. Come on. And which is like almost like a Suicide Squad thing, where like the good guys become a group of bad guys, become a group of good guys, and they save the world, and blah, 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 blah. And I don't want to get into it, but anyway, come on back. Unmute, please. You are in your safe zone. It's safe now. So this kind of led to Captain Cold, his tie-in to Legends of Tomorrow, and how that's going to tie in to The Flash and to Arrow. Not the Green Arrow, Arrow. So that was kind of cool. That was kind of cool to see that. And then, I have one question to ask. At the end of the episode, Jay Garrick was able to get the portal to become stable so he could travel from Earth 2 to Earth 1, no problem, right? So Caitlin convinces him to stay in Earth 1 so that he can teach Barry Allen, other tricks of being the Flash, and they can calculate other things that Earth 2 knows that Earth 1 doesn't know yet. All this great stuff. In my mind, as I'm watching the very end of the episode, which I hope I don't spoil it for you folks out there, but in the end, don't you notice something? Because I noticed something. If you're going to walk away from a portal that you just opened, here's a suggestion. Now, I'm just a dude in a chair in a basement with TVs behind me. So what do I know, right? Here's a suggestion for you. Close the damn portal. All right? If you're leaving a room, close the portal. All right? Because now you just left it open for anyone to join in. Anyone could just jump through that portal at any time. You basically just walked out of your apartment in the worst neighborhood, in the worst city in the world, with your door wide open, and you left your TV on, loud, and you're streaming or you're playing video games or something that's going to entice people to just walk right through your door. That's basically what you did. It's not even Science 101, it's like Life 101. All right? Life 101. Close the door. You open a door, close the door. All right? I don't know how they do it on Earth 2, Jay Garrick, but on Earth 1, when we're done with something, we close the door. or we turn off the flame if we're using a Bunsen burner, or we close the trap that's on top of the cage of whatever animal you just infected with a virus of sorts. Do you get my drift? You close the door, you close the portal when you're finished with it. I mean, I don't mean to tell you how to do your job, but I think at this point I should not also be telling you how to live your life, because you're living it wrong. Like, really wrong. Anyway, that's my rant on closing portals, all right? Next week, we'll see what happens when you don't close a portal. That's basically what next week's episode is going to be called. Not my show. My show will probably call This is what happens when you close portals. But anyway, I digress. So that was The Flash. Lots of action, couple jokes. Cisco kills me, man. Every single time. Cisco kills me. He's just a great guy. He's just funny. I heard he's a really cool, sassy kind of guy. Yeah. So those were all the TV shows I got to watch this week. I started American Horror Story episode 2. I rewatched episode 1. I wasn't really feeling it as much as I thought I was. I said it was a great show. I'm not completely going back on it. I watched it again after talking to some people, and it's a lot of information to process, and it was a lot of grasping at things at once. It was like opening it was like one of those money machines where they just throw money up at you, and you're like, oh. I did let time get by me, which again I'm very sorry about. But Once Upon a Time, I'll talk about on Sunday before this week's episode of Once Upon a Time. For those of you who don't know, I am all over social media. I have started retweeting again and tweeting stuff out there, especially since the Force Awakens trailer came out. So you can check me out on Facebook. Just go to facebook.com/thenewNerdInTown. Or you can follow me on Twitter or Twitch, which is where I'm streaming right now. I fixed my PC, so I can now play games. Go figure. My PC was great. It is great. It's a great piece of technology. I'm very happy with it. And I kicked out the one piece that was really holding me back. So I hope to be playing games soon for you guys. Do a couple of gaming streams. Play some DayZ, because I watch a lot of guys play DayZ and Arma 3 and stuff like that. I'm actually really excited for a game coming out called No Man's Sky, which hopefully comes out soon because they said by the end of 2015. So I want to play that game because I love spaceships and I love space exploration. If you did not know that already by the Star Wars freak out I had at the beginning of this episode. But fear not, there will be plenty of game streams going on. I'm also in talks with some other people, maybe doing some streams with some other people. I'll definitely tweet it out. Maybe I'll stream a little bit of it too. We'll see. We will absolutely see. But I want to say thank you to everyone out there, everybody out there who means so much to me. All of you out there who support me, all of you out there who are helping me right now, because, as I said, I got a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. But it does not mean I will stop streaming for you. And ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you this right now. December 16th, 2015, we'll be doing a special, I repeat, a special episode all about Star Wars. That's right. I will talk for 2 hours straight on Star Wars. Theories about Force Awakens, theories about the older movies, theories about the newer movies that are coming out, including like Rogue One's Star Wars story, and where they could possibly go with Han Solo. Maybe some tips and stuff about who's going to play the younger Han Solo. But for sure, definitely for sure we will be strictly talking. That will be a Star Wars episode of the New Nerd in Town TV talk. Once again, I want to thank everybody out there who's helped me out with everything, and I just want to say a personal I love you to everyone out there who support me every day, and I love you, my special one. And have a great evening, and keep watching TV shows. Let me know on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. Leave a comment, tweet at me, Facebook message me. Do whatever you need to do. Let me know if there's a TV show I should start watching. Some of the suggestions that were shown right here on the New Nerd in Town, I've actually started watching some of those shows. And I gotta say, you people have a very, very interesting choice of TV shows. But for right now, my name is Dave. I am the New Nerd. This is the New Nerd in Town TV Talk, and I'm here to say a wonderful good night.